Bienvenue, I'm theoliverpickard and welcome to beautiful, blustery Limousin, France. Today we're going to be knocking yet another thing off the list of jobs that needs doing to Jolene. The front of Jolene looks absolutely awesome and she no longer has a leaking windscreen seal. I've fit amber bulbs to her so she no longer has the silly clear bulbs. We now have proper French classic car bulbs, and I've repainted the bumper and she's looking awesome. But the back of Jolene, not so much. She doesn't quite need a facelift as a bum lift. And we're going to be going through the back of Jolene and doing a bunch of little tiny jobs to make her look like she should do. The first, biggest and most noticeable thing is the rear bumper. This rear bumper is from the wrong car. It's not only from the wrong car, but it's also got the wrong things on it. This bumper's from an Azam, which is the luxury version, the deluxe model. And it originally came with big stainless steel hoops. And that's okay on an Azam, but Jolene's the base model, and she shouldn't have them at all. So I took them off ages ago. And I had to flip these big black rubber blocks round so that I didn't have giant holes in the bumper. That's fine and everything, but it's still wrong. So today we're going to get rid of them. We're going to get rid of this horrible plastic strip, which is from later 2CVs, and we're going to fit it with the correct aluminium strip. There's nothing I can do about the holes in the bumper for now. I don't have any argon gas for my welder. So for now, I'm just going to leave the holes. They're lightning holes. But we can make it look a lot better than it does. We're also going to be painting the bumper because it's got a couple of little rusty spots, but that's it really. So we need to remove the bumper, we need to remove the rubber strip, we need to remove these awful black blocks, and we're going to repaint her and fit an aluminium strip. The next thing is Jolene's fuel cap. This is the wrong fuel cap. Well, kind of. Jolene originally came with a stainless steel or chrome fuel cap, and Jolene's fuel cap works a lot like a radiator cap. It holds pressure because of the way that the fuel pump works. But as you can see, the rubber is very corroded and it doesn't seal very well. So we're going to be swapping out the fuel cap for the correct stainless steel one with a brand new rubber. The next job is, and a bunch of you have pointed this out to me, Jolene has the wrong brake lights. Well, no, this one is correct, this one is wrong. I know that, I'm not bothered for the minute, because eventually I will find an original correct rear light, so that's going to stay the way it is. However, the rubber seals on these are also wrong. This one is correct because it's beige, but this one's black. So we're also going to be swapping that out. So today, like I say, we're going to do a bunch of little tiny things that make a huge difference. So the first job is whipping the bumper blocks off, and then we can get access to these rubber bumpers. Now I've undone the bolts in the top and bottom, we can simply pop these off. And as you can see, the hideous looking things. And this is the rubber strip that fits in around, and as you can see, that's been chopped. We're not going to need these anymore, but I will keep them in my box of stuff because you never know. Pop that one off as well. It might look sunny, but it's absolutely freezing. I've just had to go and put another jacket on. Because I don't want my bumper to fall off, I'm actually going to leave this bolt on one turn so that I can remove it just with my fingers while I take the other side off, because obviously I don't want the bumper to fall off and get damaged while I'm working on it. Right, moment of truth number 2. Ta-da! Whoop. So these are the end plates that fit like that. I'm not sure whether we'll be needing those now. I don't know. I'll have to have a check. So now we can take these little bolts off here, each one, and we can finally get these rubber strips off. So just like last week's video, I'm going to sand her back, I'm going to knock the shine off it all, and I'm going to treat any bare metal or rust with rust stop stuff, rust solution, and then we're going to paint her up. One of the biggest mistakes people make with sandpaper is that they use one piece of sandpaper to absolute death and rub it till there's nothing left of it. And it's pointless. Once the edge is gone off a piece of sandpaper, get another piece. There's no point rubbing for hours and hours and hours. It's really bad efficiency. And just think about it, like how much is a piece of sandpaper? What, 70 cents, 50 cents, something like that? And not all sandpaper's equal either. I used to go to car body shops to buy my sandpaper, like professional painting supply shops, because I haven't managed to find one here, but they sell much better quality sandpaper and much cheaper than most kind of hardware stores. And so you can buy more of it for a lot less money. And like I say, once the edge has gone off a piece of paper, it's no good to you anymore. So I've painted the bumper with Rust Cure, and I went and made a cup of tea, and now it's dry, and she's ready for painting. But I'm not going to paint the bumper here on the bench, and the reason is, it's hard to get these edges, and whenever you paint anything, paint always lies thinnest on the edges, which is why they tend to rust first. And because it's all rust cured and all nice, and I've done all the back and all that, I want a really nice even spread of paint over the whole thing. So I'm actually going to hang it up while I paint her. The colour I'm actually using for Jolene's bumpers is Grease Rose, or Grey Pink. And it's an early 60s 2CV body colour that was actually incredibly popular. And it's period correct, but it's not the colour that my bumpers were painted in. This is a little less creamy and a little more grey, and I think it suits Jolene a lot better. It suits the green a lot better than the colour the last owner chose. It's a little more subdued and a bit more classy, and it suits the wheels and it suits the paint colour better. So while my first coat of paint dries, where's my sunglasses? That's better. Right, so while my first coat of paint dries, I thought I'd take the chance to fit this new rubber on the brake light. And it's as simple as one screw. Unlike the bumpers. Yeah. And there we go. That is Jolene's brake light assembly. Windy. This one is the brake light, the top one, and this one is the running light. And this is basically a posh elastic band, and it just pops off like that. Here you can see that it's the incorrect brake light because it has this side piece in here. The standard one does not. And it's actually a slightly different colour if I hold them next to each other. That upsets my OCD, but she will be changed eventually to a proper one, so for now, how do I put this back in here? There. For now, I'm just simply going to change this horrible old black rubber out for this brand new cream one. The slot goes to the bottom. There we go. Literally a 10-minute job and she's looking better already. Now then, the bottom of this piece here hooks into the bottom of the light. So just pull it back, slot it in. There we go. So while my bumper's drying, there's another job I can do. And it's much easier now than it will be later. And that is this. This is my brand new bumper strip. This is actually a side strip that runs down like the sill at the bottom of the doors. I couldn't get a proper bumper strip, I've tried. And you'll notice that it's not shiny. It's actually pretty matte. And this is made of aluminium, and it needs to be shiny to match all the rest of my aluminium. So I'm actually going to use a rotary head on a drill, and this is a cotton mop head with polishing soap, which is this stuff. You can buy it in big blocks as well, but from your local hardware store, you'll be able to pick a kit of this up pretty cheaply. This is Autosol. Autosol metal polish. This does for chrome and stainless steel and all sorts. They do an aluminium specific one, but I don't have any. Autosol is the best metal polish I have ever used. And the best thing to polish metal with is this. Literally a piece of old cotton t-shirt. To polish with Autosol, you need 2 rags and be prepared to get very dirty. One is your polishing rag, one is your dirty rag, and the other one is your clean rag. And what you're basically going to do is put your polish on the metal, polish it like absolute mad, and you'll get loads of black off it, and it'll be utterly disgusting, especially if it's not something brand new like this. And then, with your clean rag afterwards, you're going to buff it up. I'm well aware that the piece of trim that I've been polishing for about the last half an hour is anodized. If you don't know what anodized is, it's an electrostatic coating. Basically, it stops the aluminium oxidizing. Aluminium does rust, contrary to popular belief, but it comes off like white powder, similar to the way magnesium does. And I'm aware that this was anodized. This inside is anodized. And that's fine inside, and I'm glad it's anodized inside. However, the trim on my car is not anodized. It's all shiny. And so I've popped a bit of a shine on it. And if that makes the anodized thinner, I'm not bothered. I would rather have shiny trim that matches the rest of the car and have to polish it all the time like I do the trim that's on my car. It doesn't anodize, it doesn't oxidize very quickly, but it will slowly oxidize over time if you don't keep an eye on it. The back being anodized is really good because the clips that hold this trim into the bumper are made of stainless steel, I think, either chrome steel or stainless steel, probably stainless. And stainless steel and aluminium don't get along very well. The stainless tends to eat the aluminium because the aluminium is more of a complex cocktail than the stainless steel is. That's why you should never screw a steel bolt into aluminium, because the steel bolt will actually eat away at the aluminium. And basically the purer metal will always eat the less pure metal. So these are what I'm going to be holding the aluminium trim piece on the back bumper with. They are 2CV body clips made of stainless steel, and they're quite brilliant actually. You push them through and they cross over, and then when they get to the other side they spring open again. They're easy to install, they're easy to remove, which is good. Many clips and stuff, once they're in, you're never going to get them back out again. That's not the case with these, and they, like I say, they're good. They're really strong and they hold trim on really well. The issue with them, they're reasonably expensive, about 50 cents each, which there's quite a few of these on a 2CV. On an early 2CV anyway. But yeah, that's what I'm using. They're brilliant. Because the rail is straight, but the bumper is curved, what I'm having to do is cut some little crimps in the back edge of the bumper. And then that way, when I knock them inwards, rather than bending it this way, which is what it's done when I've crimped it, it will bend it the opposite way. Being aluminium, I don't want to bend it too many times, because, put simply, that will make it crack or split or kink. Good morning and welcome to day 2 of our bum lift of Jolene. The bumper trim is on the bumper and the bumper is of course dry. I learnt some stuff about this reproduction trim yesterday that I'm not massively happy with. Of course, this trim wasn't designed for this bumper. The trim I needed wasn't available, so I made do with this. It was never designed to be bent in the first place, so I knew I had my work cut out for me. Turns out this trim is a lot less malleable than the old trim. I think it's because partly it's anodized. What I should have done, this is a much tighter radius than I actually thought. So what I should have done is I should have cut out kind of like a flat-topped triangle shape rather than a crimp. I should have made those flat-top triangles about 5mm apart. I should have made them really close to each other. And I also should have annealed the aluminium over a flame. And because I didn't do that, you can probably tell here, there's some little tiny cracks. Only tiny, and there's only a few of them. Whoop. And I've just pulled the trim off, there we go. There's only a couple of them, and, well, a few of them, and they're not very big, and when the bumper's on the car you'll never notice it, but I'll know it's there, and I'm not happy with it. And like I say, I'm going to be redoing this piece of trim at a later date. I'm not happy with it, but it does look, I have kind of held it up to the car, I couldn't resist, but it does look a lot better than the old plastic. Anything was an upgrade from that, and this colour is a lot nicer. It's a lot less creamy than the old bumper colour. And luckily, because this piece of trim is slightly wider than the original trim in the back anyway, I don't need to clearance my bumper bolts. I don't need to make little allowances for each bumper bolt, so that's good news. So once I've cut it down and radiused the edges, I can bolt it all back together. We can now put the bumper back on and of course line it up. The bolts in the bumper are slightly ovalized, or the holes are slightly ovalized, so that you can line everything up perfectly. And lastly, the cherry on top. What a difference a day makes. It's been a lot of work, and this little piece of bright work might not be quite up to my usual standard. However, there we go. However, I think you'll agree that she looks miles better than she used to. With a new stainless steel fuel cap that actually works, the seal in the old one had gone, and so it needed replacing. It wasn't just vanity. And we've actually shed about 1 kilo of weight off the rear bumper, when you take into consideration all the screws and the extra mountings and all that. It's well over 1 kilo if you take into account the stainless steel hoops that used to be on here. And we have the correct little rubber seals around the brake lights. It's little things like this that make a huge difference to me personally. I'm someone that obsesses over detail, and 6 months after buying my car, is it now? 7 months? I've finally got it looking the way I want it to look. There's still jobs to do, and there's still little things here and there that I want to change and improve on. but she finally looks the way that I wish she looked from the very beginning, and I couldn't be happier. So please tell me what you think down below. Thank you all for liking, commenting and subscribing. Please be awesome to each other, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye. No you don't. Get out of my car. Nope. No you don't. No you don't. Okay. Nope. Well, you can't go in. You can't. Nope. Pull in.